Hello and welcome back to the Remembrancers Library podcast. I'm Vincent.
I'm Ethan.
And today we are picking back up where we left off, talking about all of the Primarchs.
Yes. Today we're going to be talking about Ferrus Manus, Primarch of the 10th Legion, fourth of the Primarchs to be found by the Emperor.
Yes.
Yeah. Leader of the Iron Hands.
Iron Hands.
Yes.
Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hands.
Yes, Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hands.
Literally just...
His dude, Games Workshop, it's quite obvious they didn't care about this guy, because they were like, Iron Hands, alright, what's that in Latin? Ferrus Manus, alright, let's do it. The Hands of Iron, got it, cool.
Yep. But also in the lore as well, his name does directly translate from High Gothic to
Hands of Iron.
Hands of Iron.
Well, it's like his legion's called the Iron Hands. His name is Iron Hands. He has Iron Hands.
Yep.
It's so Ferrus Manus it's insane.
Yes.
The dude has no tact for anything fun or like naming anything differently. It's just like, I will name my legion after myself. You can't name your legion Ferrus Manus. Iron Hands.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be talking about him, and then we'll be also talking about Fulgrim.
Fulgrim today, yeah. We got there's not a lot of information about both of these guys pre-heresy. Ferrus for obvious reasons, and Fulgrim because a lot of the Chaos Primarchs don't have a lot about them before the heresy.
Yeah.
I think the exception in that being Magnus, because he has the whole Council of Nicaea thing, and like him being a psyker and everything. Same with Lorgar. Lorgar has a lot of information pre-heresy, but outside of, Corvus too. Conrad. Conrad, Magnus, and Lorgar all have a lot of information pre-heresy, but the rest of them don't, and that's the thing. So we're gonna knock together Fulgrim and Ferrus today, get them both knocked out. Might be a bit of a longer one, but who cares?
We'll put them together, and because they were of the brothers, they had quite the bond between the two
relationship,
of them.
They were best buddies.
Yeah, best buds.
If they weren't brothers, they probably would have been in some kind of relationship, but that comes a little bit later on, as you'll see why.
Exactly. But we'll talk a bit about their backstories each, and then get into the two of them going closer to the heresy.
All right, so we'll start off with Ferrus. So Ferrus Manus, like the rest of his brothers and everything like that, were shot off into the warp after the warp gods got a little bit angry with the Emperor for screwing them over. So he shot them all. They all got shot off into the warp, and then came out in different parts of the universe. Ferrus came out on the world of Medusa.
Yes, and then as with most of the rest of the planets, very not a great place to live.
No, it was an icy death world with volcanoes and a lot of technology, a lot of old technology on it.
Exactly.
Ferrus was shot into the tallest mountain on the planet,
which was called Karashi.
Karashi, yes. It was a giant volcano.
Yeah.
He got shot so deep into it with such an impact that the whole
geological makeup of the entire planet was
kind of got a bit of a shake-up. Yeah.
It's so unstable already, but this made chasms that then formed into new volcanoes.
And the hole where he landed can still be seen today, 10,000 years after his landing.
Exactly.
Medusa was not a nice place to begin with anyway. Like we said, volcanoes, like ice deserts, all that kind of thing.
And a relatively small population as well.
I don't think I had a number on it. I just know that it was a very small population. So small, didn't have a number.
Exactly.
But they lived. They lived in tribes, in clans, and everything like that, like most of them do. They were able to survive and keep going and stuff like that. Didn't use a lot of the technology that was around them, though. They just couldn't understand how it worked. Which I guess it's kind of lucky that Ferrus came along.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the mountain was full
of all this technology as well. And from what I remember, he was like in this mountain, he stayed up there, and he just kind of started poking around with all of this technology bits. Started figuring stuff out.
So basically he landed in what probably was a Necron hive world, like a Necron tier hive world, or a Necron tier base of operation.
Right.
Because the mountain that the mountain that he was shot into was essentially just like a Necron fortress.
Okay.
Sans the Necrons.
So all full of this super old technology, because this is the Necron tier pre-Necrons, when they still were actual viable beings.
Not quite. They were
not quite. Like still not.
They were under the katana. Like they were probably the robot Necron at that point, because the Necron tier weren't off their planet yet. Well, it's kind of like weren't they? Who knows? But they weren't off their planet yet, so they probably were the robot Necron, which is why it's so weird that all of the technology was just kind of left there, because where there's Necron technology, there is Necrons. So it's kind of just weird that there's all this supposed Necron technology on Medusa.
Right. But yeah, so this was the stuff. This was the the living metal.
Yeah, the living metal. Yeah. The necrodermis is what it's called.
Yes.
Which just means Necron skin.
Yes.
Or dead skin.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
But yeah, anyways, he starts poking around with this technology and figures out that the pod that he came in was not in any way, shape, or form similar to the technology he was finding.
Yeah, no, he pretty much off the rip, the moment that he had his understanding, he got out of his pod and was like, these two technologies don't exist together. Like, this is not the same as this technology. The Necron's technology is far advanced from Imperium of Man technology, so he was kind of like, oh, this is a bit weird. Noticing, one of the things that he noticed right off the rip as well was the huge X on his pod, which he was like, I wonder what that could mean. And then, so he gets out of his pod and he just starts poking around with his technology, testing it out, like seeing what he can figure out and all that stuff. Ferrus from the beginning is a really smart Primarch. Like, a lot of the Primarchs are really intelligent, but off the rip, he's just like not getting taught anything. He's in the mountain on his own and he just starts poking around with technology.
So very, very smart, but in a very brutal and cold way, I guess then.
Which again, like, adds to the thing of, it's all planned. I sound like an insane person every single time I talk about
the conspiracies,
dude. How does the naturally technologically advanced Primarch end up on the naturally technologically advanced but barren world that is Medusa? Like, there has to be something going on there. There has to be something going on. But anyway, I'm not going to go down that road again, because it's going to happen every single episode.
I mean, when we're getting into like the basic preliminaries of everything, it's gonna be there.
Well, like Sanguinius and Conrad literally have premonitions of their death. It has to be some sort of plans, because they wouldn't have premonitions of their deaths if they didn't land on the planets they landed on. So it's it's all planned. Tzeentch is planning all of this stuff, which is why I hate the Thousand Sons, because it's like your god is so good at this. Why do you get Magnus is a bitch. He shouldn't have got such a god. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue talking about the Primarch we're supposed to be talking about.
Right. So he's poking around at all this technology. And as you do when you're learning things, you stick a fork in an outlet and then maybe a toaster in a bath.
And then he stuck his fist in a worm.
Stick his fist in a worm, and now there's this large, huge biomechanical worm that he's woken up.
Well, it's funny as well, because I don't know if it's a worm or a worm. Because they call it a worm at the beginning, like a big snake, but then they call it a worm as in like WYRM worm. So it's like, is it a dragon or is it a worm?
Some sort of serpent. Are we talking like basilisk scale here? Either way, it's awake now and it's angry.
It's angry. I was about to say at Angron.
Nope, not quite.
No, not that Primarch. He's angry at Ferrus. So him and Ferrus, they have a tussle. They beat on each other for a little while, but Ferrus is still young. He's still not tested in the ways of fighting, in the ways of the world and all that sort of stuff. So Ferrus goes and he gets his ass kicked. As Ferrus tends to does.
And the snake buggers off somewhere.
He just kind of drills to the planet and then just goes, and Ferrus is like, come back, I'm not done with you yet. And the worm's like, Lamau, L, take the L.
Later. Later, loser, whatever.
Later, loser. Gage is our editor, by the way. If you do leave comments, thank Gage for editing out all the bad words.
All of our no words. Back on track. So, the big worm buggers off. And
this sparks Ferrus into realizing that he needs to get stronger. Which is again, Ferrus is an extremely smart Primarch. He's very headstrong. He is very much of the idea of, I can't defeat this right now, so I'm going to strengthen what I can to defeat this. Which also leads into why his entire legion is all about, replacing limbs and getting it's like this body part isn't doing it, I'll replace it. And it's like so ingrained into him and his legion of like, I need to get stronger to do this. And because of that feeling of like, I need to get stronger to do this, Ferrus takes the next year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it is, just going out and killing everything he can.
Yeah, because like in the early times of him being here, he didn't leave his mountain. He didn't go and interact with.
He's a very cold and calculated person, and that is because he didn't have any friends.
Yeah, he was raised by the mountain.
He was raised by the mountain. He was raised on his own.
Yeah.
Not like Lehman, where he was raised by wolves. He was raised by the mountain. He was born in the mountain, so to speak.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's like, I need to get stronger, and then is going out and challenging not the people.
Not the people, no. He didn't go anywhere near the people. Yeah. They saw him, though.
They saw him
like Bigfoot.
Yeah, like Bigfoot.
Is what you told me earlier.
So now he's kind of like this urban
myth,
legend, kind of, and gains a bunch of nicknames.
Yeah, like, what was it, the Son of Man and the Calamity?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. So he's now just fighting anything that he can get his hands on, and then continuing to work with the technology, right?
Yeah, basically that's it. Like he, not some, like, I think with the technology, but he's basically just doing everything he can to get smarter and stronger during this time. And he's just going and he's fighting and he's killing and I don't think he's I think he's doing everything by bare hands at this point. Yeah, so he's just like going out, beating stuff, punching things, punching rocks, metal.
First night of Minecraft vibes.
Yeah, and then eventually he comes back and he finds the worm, which has a name now.
Yes, does have a name, Asimov.
Yeah, the Great Silver Worm, whatever. Asimov.
And he's like, it's part 2, Showdown part 2.
Yeah, Showdown part 2. Like, the fight you've all been waiting for. Yep. Ferrus versus the worm again. Yeah.
Now, in this instance, the sequel was as good as the first.
Yeah, because Ferrus puts the beat down on this worm.
Yeah.
Like they end up in a volcano and they're just beating on each other. Like Obi-Wan and Anakin just absolutely smacking each other around. And then Ferrus gets the upper hand on the worm, grabs him, and just pushes him into the lava. Yeah. Like he is melting the worm. Because it's a giant. We said it's a giant biomechanical worm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it is part machine, part organic matter. So the organic matter burns away. The metal starts to the metal starts to form and melt and stuff like that. Yeah. It melts onto his arm. Yeah. It needs the metal needs organic stuff to be attached to, and the closest organic thing is the big friggin' man holding this worm underneath the lava.
So then his arms are now covered in living metal. Yeah. He's fused with this machine, as the Necrontyr were. Yeah.
And he has his iron fists.
And now he has his iron fists.
Roll credits.
Roll credits. End of story. Everyone go home.
Yeah. Now on to Fulgrim.
But no, so he's got these iron hands, and this was like his benchmark that he was working up to.
Yeah.
So now he's proven his strength to himself.
Yeah, to himself. He has found that he now believes that he is smart enough and strong enough to go and meet these clans of Medusa. I was about to say Magnus. I have too many words in my head.
And they all start with same letters.
Dude, this is the issue with like Warhammer. They have so many things that sound the same.
Yeah.
And so many things that so many things you have to know that things start crossing over.
Yeah.
At the beginning of every book, they give you a character outline, like an old Shakespearean play.
I love that, actually.
Like, I think in the Siege of Terror books, the character list is 3 pages long, 3 to 4 pages long every single time.
Holy moly.
Yeah, because you have to know all the characters going into it. And it's like, why do I need to know all of these side characters? Yeah. And Games Workshop has a wonderful thing of introducing a character for one book and then killing them off.
Yep.
So you're like, why was this one important? Oh, they were just important for this one book. And then you're like, okay, let me read their wiki. Why is there so much information about them?
Yeah. And I mean, like on the side here, as we're recording stuff, I don't know if anyone's really familiar with Obsidian.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like a personal wiki, and so I'm pulling all of this information and putting it. Yeah, not sponsored. I'm pulling all of the information in there, so that I can have everything backlinked and nice and neat and organized.
Yeah. And you already have like 20 tabs?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. But they all link back up. Yeah. They all link back up.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
The numbers, Mason.
The numbers.
What do they mean?
But yeah, so back to Ferrus.
Yeah. He proves himself, and he proves himself. He's strong enough, he's smart enough to finally lead the people of Medusa. And he goes to them and he's like, hey, it's me, the Son of Man, the Calamity. And they're like,
yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are. Look at you. He's freaking 10 feet tall and arms of steel. And it's like, no, iron.
Yeah. This is the Man of Iron, not the Man of Steel.
This is the Man of Iron. This is the Iron Man.
Yes, he is.
He is Iron Man. Black Sabbath starts playing.
So yeah, as all of the Primarchs do with their natural
charisma, and,
leadership.
Charisma's a long shot for Ferrus.
He's just got.
He's just a formidable foe.
Yeah, it's not charisma, it's intimidation.
It's intimidation, yeah. So he leads them, starts teaching them in the ways of their technology. They start advancing again.
He starts teaching them about the technology.
Yeah.
And a snippet that I read somewhere, he'd let the clans still duke it out. Like, he united them as the people of Medusa, but not under, like, one clan name.
Yeah.
He let them have their conflict, let them have their spats. He wouldn't step in to let the people still, like, evolve in their own way that way.
Yeah, he was the embodiment of mess around and find out.
Yes.
Yeah, he'd just be like, he was like, if it dies, it dies. If it lives, it lives. If it lives, it's obviously destined to survive. If it dies, it's obviously destined to die.
Exactly.
He's very, very cut and dry like that.
Yeah, ruled with an iron fist. Literally, no velvet glove on top.
No.
But yeah, he's starting to work with the people, and again, as with the rest of his brothers, word gets around.
Yeah. Well, I think with him, word didn't get around. He was one of the ones where it was just like, oh, there's a Primarch here.
Yeah, there was just kind of like a feeling.
Yeah.
This must be something.
This must be something. Yeah. So
the Emperor shows up
again with it's the Psyker thing again.
Yeah.
I'm going into too many theories, dude. I'm like Charlie from Sunny. Dude, there has to be some Psyker stuff involved.
Yeah,
because there are so many planets in the Imperium. There's no way that the Emperor just came across them.
Yeah,
especially with like Gage could have like with Medusa being how it was with like the fiery skies, like the small population and stuff like that. They weren't doing any off-world stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, they wouldn't really get around.
They wouldn't get around like that. And it's not like Nocturne and Vulcan and everything like that, where it was like they had a large population as well as living on a death world. They had a small population and lived on a death world.
Yeah.
With no access to their moon.
Yeah.
To them, basically, there was no existence of space because all they looked up was in sort of blackness from the volcano.
Just all the ash and smog.
Yeah. So eventually the Emperor does turn up.
Yeah, the Emperor turns up by just
sheer force of will, probably Psyker stuff. But people don't like to say it's Psyker stuff, but it probably is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he shows up, comes across Ferrus, and
Ferrus is like, if you can beat me in battle, then I will pledge my allegiance.
Yeah.
And they just beat the piss out of each other.
Yeah. Flatten mountains.
Crack the ground.
Yeah.
Probably somewhere in there they had the classic movie thing of one of them throws a punch, the other one throws a punch, their fists connect and the ground breaks underneath them kind of thing.
They get shot halfway across the planets in opposite directions.
Yeah. Ferrus goes, this is what it means to go even further beyond. You know how it goes.
Yep. But yeah, and then proving to each other that they're worthy warriors of each other, Ferrus bends a knee.
Ferrus bends a knee. He says, I pledge my allegiance to you because you are quite obviously the Emperor of mankind. You are my father.
Yeah.
And then Ferrus starts to notice that the technology that has come with the Emperor is the same as the pod that he was found in.
Yes.
He starts making those connections pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
Showing his technical prowess off the bat.
Lovely.
Yeah.
But then, he gets taken back to everyone else.
Yeah. The Emperor is like, come with me. I'll show you your legion. And Ferrus is like, cool.
Which just so happens to be the 10th.
The 10th Legion, yes. And then he's like, oh, it all makes sense now.
X marked the spot.
Yes.
I am number 10.
I am number 10. It's me, Ferrus Manus, Emperor of the 10th Legion. What am I going to call them? The Iron Hands, because I have no tact.
I can't just name them myself.
Yeah. Do you see the models that came out recently for them?
I did not.
It's all black.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's like all like dark black and stuff like that, which is funny because they also have just released a whole bunch of Raven Guard stuff as well.
Yeah.
So there's 2 black legions that have just come out at the same time, and I'm sure it's not going to get confusing for people at all.
Oh, definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
But yeah, no. So he goes back to Terra with the Emperor, and he gets introduced to his legion, the Iron Hands.
Yeah.
And he notices, and he starts instilling into them immediately just discipline.
Yeah.
Just outright, like, we have to be strong, smart, everything.
Yep.
He's very headstrong. He's a very headstrong thing.
Yep.
Like, they're a very headstrong legion. Like, in one of, I think it's in Fulgrim's book, Ferrus gets angry about the fact that he can't do a head-on attack on some Xenos.
Right.
Yeah, and he's just like, why can't we just fight them head-on, Fulgrim? I don't understand how we would do it any other way. And Fulgrim's just like, have you tried hiding? And Ferrus is like, that is a coward's way to fight.
So he's just barreling right in, just ready. He's
all strength. He's all like, if you can't do it the strong way, don't do it anyway at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like not so much in the like the revelry of the bloodbath. It's just that we're gonna get the job done, but in a different. Yeah, it's the brute strength.
He's one of the job done Primarchs. He's up there with Russ, the Lion. Yeah. Ferrus. So yeah, he goes back and he meets his legion, and he's instilling into them the discipline that he learned from his early years of living on his own on Medusa.
Exactly.
Strength, intelligence, all of that stuff he's instilling onto his...
And weak links are not something that he stands for.
No, not at all. He is very much a thing of like, if you are not strong enough to lead your people into battle, if you're not strong enough to, pull up everything and learn what you need, then you are not worthy enough to be in my army.
Exactly.
And you might as well just die.
Any hesitation, any unwillingness to do what needs to be done, they're gone.
They're gone. Expendable, exactly.
Yeah.
So he gives that to his legion.
Yeah.
Now, while he's on Terra, he meets his best buddy. He meets his 100% not going to betray him in the future at all buddy. He meets Fulgrim for the first time.
Yes.
And this is where he gets his nickname.
Yes.
Because he gets the nickname of the Gorgon.
Yes.
And it's because he meets up with Fulgrim and they do all of their stuff. But then he also meets Sanguinius while he's there. And Sanguinius is giving all of these beautiful statues and these gemstones and all that stuff. And
to the Emperor.
To the Emperor. Yeah. And Ferrus Manus is like, there's no need for art in war. Like, this is all useless. And then Fulgrim goes to him. He's just like as campy as he can be.
Absolutely.
Goes, oh Ferrus, you're such a Gorgon.
Because that's totally a heterosexual thing to say to your brother.
Dude, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's how the guy read it in the book. Like,
directly out of the audiobook.
Directly out of the audiobook, exactly like that.
Lovely.
Yeah. And speaking of, heterosexuality, I will say this in Fulgrim's one, but they have a very, very manly match of skill when they meet each other for the first time.
Yes.
Because Fulgrim comes in, because Ferrus is in the Great Forge of Terra, like basically like the biggest forge on the planet underneath the mountain.
Because I don't know if we really got into that, but being around all the tech and whatnot, Ferrus is also
great
by nature
weaponsmith.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like he can use his hands as a hammer.
Yeah.
Like he literally just punches metal into shape.
Yeah.
And I think I'm not sure, but like some of the way that it's explained and stuff like that, he can like pinch the edge of a blade and sharpen it.
Oh.
Is like kind of the idea I'm getting from it and stuff like that, because he makes extremely intricate like everything. Like it's basically he molds iron like clay.
Yeah.
He molds like metal like clay. It's like he's just has he's amazing skill. Like he can put his hands into the forge and mold it while it's melting.
I mean, after having held a great beast in the magma for however long, forge isn't gonna. That's gonna feel like a summer's breeze.
Yeah. So but he's underneath the thing, and like, there's all of these like forge handlers and like forge makers and stuff like that, and they're just around standing in awe watching Ferrus build stuff.
Yeah.
And then Fulgrim comes in, the big dandy that he is. If you were looking at him like Ferrus, he comes in and he's like, I'm going to make the greatest weapon, a weapon worthy of a god if they existed. And Ferrus goes, no one with hands as pale as yours would be able to make a weapon.
Yeah.
That cool.
Straight up saying he's got soft hands.
Yeah, you got soft hands.
You're too delicate, too artsy, whatever.
Yeah. Literally too delicate to make a weapon.
Yeah.
And Fulgrim goes, bet.
Yeah.
So they stay inside for 3 months.
Yeah. Just the two of them in a room. Two bros. Chilling in a
forge 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
Yeah.
Well, one of them's not gay. One of them doesn't have 7 beard wives.
Lovely. But yeah, so they're just duking it out, making these weapons.
Making these great weapons. Ferrus makes not a warhammer. He wields one. Right? He makes a fire inlaid sword named Firebrand.
Yes.
And it is an incredible sword. Like, it's flaming constantly.
On fire.
Like, like they talk about how, like, when it cuts through stuff, it cauterizes immediately.
Ooh.
Like, it burns as it cuts.
Yeah.
And then Fulgrim crafts a warhammer, forge breaker. It can level mountains, or so the stories say.
Yep.
And
big old hammer.
And they get to the end of it, and they're like, "That one's so much better than mine."
Yeah.
Like, you are the clear winner, and it's like, "No, you are the clear winner."
No, you're better.
No, you're better. And
you're better.
And then they make out.
No, because they're brothers.
No, because they're brothers, and that would be weird.
Yes. But they did swap the weapons,
yes,
right?
Yes, they gave each other their weapons, yeah.
Yeah, so they exchanged. They both self-proclaim themselves the loser.
The loser, and they're like, well, a champion needs something worthy of a champion.
Exactly.
And they give each other their weapons.
Yeah.
And then that's how it goes. And that's pretty much where, like, Ferrus's story on Terra ends.
Yeah.
His brotherhood with Fulgrim is all that's really talked about.
Yeah.
Because a lot of his backstory comes from the book Fulgrim.
Right.
So, like, their brotherhood, like, extends into their legions.
Yeah.
Like, their legions are so close. Every time that they, like, meet up, it's like a big joyous event between legions.
Yeah.
A lot of like, they get slapping on the back of, all that kind of stuff.
Yes, they end up having a respect for the brutal versus the graceful.
But it's very much like a thing of like what we lack in tact, you make up for in grace.
Yes. Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
All things should be.
It's like, yeah, that's it. It's like what we lack in grace, you make up for. What we lack in strategy, you make up for.
Exactly.
It's a perfect balance. If, like, them fighting side by side is literally like a perfect battle.
Exactly.
But that's basically the end of Ferrus's thing. Ferrus Manus is not at the Ullanor campaign. He's on the other side of the universe, fighting. I think it's the Diasporex. I think is what it is.
I think that's that sounds about right.
They've been fighting for a while.
Yeah.
The Ullanor, actually, no, it's not a while. I think it's like a good couple of years that they're fighting the Diasporex.
Yeah. And, like, typically from what I've seen, when Ferrus goes in for battle, when he's told by the Emperor, okay, go deal with this planet, it's either they agree or they die.
Yeah, they agree or they die. And they're like, and it's like, yeah, they agree or they die, and the ones that don't die and surrender, they will be the ones that populate this planet under the Emperor.
Exactly. But then he's also got to support his troops.
Yes, because, I forgot about that part. Thanks for bringing it up.
You're welcome.
Ferrus, in his infinite wisdom, brings thousands of planets into compliance.
Mm-hmm.
And due to the low population on Medusa, he takes his tithes from each planet. All the
strapping young lads.
Yeah, like there are very few genetically diverse legions in the Imperium, but the Iron Hands is one of them. Because they take tithes from other worlds to bolster their legion.
Similar to how Russ did, he would pick. Well, I mean, he picked from his own planet.
He picks from his own planet, and he would pick from other planets. The Lion does it as well.
Yeah.
You can't really say that Gilliman does it, because he basically is just like, all of these planets are mine. All of them.
Yeah.
In the Ultramar sector. All of the Ultramar sector is mine.
What an attitude.
Oh, yeah, what an attitude. He's such a rissy. His brothers hated him because he was daddy's money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's daddy's money kind
Put
of
it on daddy's credit card.
Yeah.
We'll take the Range Rover, put it on daddy's credit card.
Yeah. I'm gonna take my elf girlfriend out for a ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no. And then of course, after a while, they built a great big hall on Medusa. Like, it was a big forges galore, training camps, everything on Medusa. That's where all the training of the Iron Hands happens, is on Medusa.
I think they were called aspirants or something like that when
aspirants,
they were aspirants when they
that's a Space Marine thing across the
just all of them.
All of them are called aspirants, and then they go into, I can't remember, but there's this thing between aspirants and aspirant is the beginning, and then they become a Space Marine. There's a thing before aspirant that is I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. We'll go into it when we talk about Space Marines as a whole.
Yes.
But that's the end of Ferrus Manus for now.
Yep.
We'll talk about him very briefly in the Horus Heresy. Not because he doesn't bring anything, because he's there very briefly in the Horus Heresy.
Exactly.
But he is head and shoulders above the rest.
Yeah. Big tall forge unit of a man.
Yeah, forge unit of a man definitely doesn't have anything bad happen to him.
Never.
He lives forever.
Yeah, him and his brother, happy ending.
Happy ending, holding hands, skipping into the sunset.
Exactly. But on to his brother then.
On to his brother, Fulgrim, Primarch of the 3rd Legion, the Emperor's Children, and the 5th of the Emperor's sons to be found. He comes from the homeworld of Chemos. Now, Fulgrim, what to say about Fulgrim?
Where to begin?
Where to begin? He is a very prideful man, and you will see that in his early years from Chemos. Now, there's a lot more to talk about Fulgrim and like Chemos and stuff like that, because there was basically Fulgrim, like I said, is one of the Chaos Primarchs. He has a lot more story than some of the other ones.
Because he comes in, came up a lot during the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, he's actually the first Primarch to be corrupted by Chaos in the Horus Heresy, technically.
Okay.
Lorgar, probably before that, was corrupted. I'm not sure if he is corrupted or not.
Right.
But he is one of the first Primarchs to be corrupted by Chaos in the Horus Heresy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, was he sort of initiating trying to get other Primarchs to fall first, or does he have the most amount of?
Well, we'll go over it more in the Horus Heresy stuff. But he is actually corrupted away from the heresy.
Oh,
so if the heresy hadn't have happened, his corruption would have still happened.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was being corrupted beside the heresy. It was just kind of worked out that it was happening at the same time.
Just conveniently,
Conveniently. I'm telling you now, it's all connected. It was all planned. Fulgrim, like the rest of the Primarchs, shot off into the warp.
Yep.
Abducted by Tzeentch, most probably, and shot off into the warp. He ended up landing on a planet called Chemos. Now, Chemos is fun because Chemos was dying, like most of the Primarchs planets were.
Yeah.
It had a population of 500 million, though, so they were still rather prosperous.
Good for them.
And they were dying not from their own hubris or warring or stuff like that. They were one of the unlucky ones that just ended up being cut off from Terra due to the
warp travel getting shut down.
Yeah, God, what is it called? I can't remember. The Age of Strife.
Right.
The big warp storms that were happening because of the Eldar during the Age of Strife.
Right.
And the reason that they were on the way to dying is because they really relied on food. They were a mining planet and they weren't farming anything on their planet.
Oh.
They needed food from the warp, and because of that, they ended up starving.
Makes sense.
Not to mention the fact that their planet was essentially in perpetual twilight because there were nebula storms around their planet, which means that the sun couldn't get to their planet properly. So they couldn't grow anything properly because there wasn't sun coming down. So it took forever for crops to grow, or they wouldn't grow at all. Yada yada. Excuse me. Gage, cut that out.
Gage, cut that out.
Yeah,
Stop being silly.
Stop being a silly guy. But they...
So nobody's getting any vitamin D.
No vitamin D. Well, they are, but it's very little.
Very little.
And so they were having trouble growing food, just basically thriving, surviving, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
The cities on the planet were starting to die out.
Okay.
And this is not people dying and stuff like that. It was just a thing of they just couldn't sustain the cities.
Yeah, the infrastructure was crumbling because...
Yeah, because people were spending more time on working and trying to keep everybody alive.
Yeah.
The cities themselves were just getting neglected, so people were moving from the cities to these giant fortresses.
Okay.
They were called basically fortress factories.
Okay.
They were just huge manufacturing plants.
Yeah.
And they just kept working in these places, and the machinery was just getting older and older and wearing out more and more and more.
Yeah.
Which means that people had to work more and more and more. So the entire planet, the entire population of the planet was in a perpetual stream of just
have to work,
sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep. So it's one shift would end, another one would come on, and the shift that would end, they would go sleep. When they woke up,
the next shift would start.
When they woke up, this next shift would start.
Right.
Literally, as you said, that it's basically
work or die.
Work or die. It's literally, and it wasn't like a slavery kind of thing where it was you will work or you won't get fed kind of thing. It was everyone was in the exact same boat where it was we'll die if we don't work.
Nobody's ahead of each other. It's just the entire planet is going to succumb to starvation if we don't.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Yep. And eventually they were just no. They'd send out people to these dead cities to find supplies and stuff like that. And we're not talking food and stuff like that. It was basically like parts to fix the machines that were breaking on them.
Okay, yeah.
And this happened all over the planet. So there wasn't like one big fortress factory. There were these fortress factories all over the planet.
Okay.
And they were just disconnected from each other. They didn't know if people outside the walls were dead or if they were living or if they were just gone.
Right.
It was just live or die. Work and die. That's all it was.
So everything's gray. Nobody's having any fun.
Yeah.
It's survival or it's
survival or death. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then eventually, Fulgrim showed up.
Right. He gets shot out of the warp and touches down.
Yep. Touches down on Chemos. He comes down on Chemos, and it's so funny because he comes down on Chemos, he lands, and the police force, they're a police force called the Caretakers.
Okay.
And the Caretakers, they find the baby. They find the baby Fulgrim.
Yeah.
And they're like, great, another one.
Another mouth to
kid.
feed.
Yeah.
God damn.
I thought we outlawed this to once a year, kind of thing. And they were like, but it's a kid. We'll ask the higher up. We'll ask the executives. So they go to the executives and they're like, baby.
Who's probably by the time they got him there,
a toddler.
A toddler,
he probably
teenager.
He probably grew to a toddler within like 5 minutes of getting out of the pod.
Yeah.
Like they literally found him in the pod. They found the pod as it came down from the sky.
Oh, okay. They found it right away.
Yeah. Like that happens a few times where they'll see the pod come down out of the sky and they're like, oh,
that's a thing.
That's baby.
Let's go over there and figure out what's going on.
Exactly. So they take the baby Fulgrim and they take it to the executives and they're like, hey, look, a baby. And they're like, we should really get rid of the baby, but it's such a beautiful baby. Like, it's a perfect baby.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how white the hair is and how beautiful the skin is. And, I'm sure we won't give this baby a complex by calling it so perfect its entire life. But then they're like, yeah, you can raise it, but you guys have to raise it. You are in charge of this kid.
Okay.
You will not be giving it any extra age. You won't be giving extra. This kid will be raised as one of our own.
Yeah.
So they name it, and then the Caretakers come along and they name it after their god of creation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is just Fulgrim at that point?
Just Fulgrim, yeah. No last name, no first name, just Fulgrim. Like Beyonce.
Yeah.
Or Cher.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is apt for him.
He is, the diva queen.
The diva queen, yeah. He is a queen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With those cheekbones, come on.
Oh, man, yeah. Hey, Fulgrim. That's a deep cut. You won't get that one. No, there's a book later on, and the ancient Rylanor, who we will talk about because he's an absolute badass. Basically, he survived for 10,000 years after the Istvan 3 atrocity, and then Fulgrim comes back and finds him, and he tries to blow up a virus bomb.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and he just looks at me and goes, hey, Fulgrim. It's like, no, that's not it. So there was a comic based on that, and it was like, hey, Fulgrim, what? And then he blows up the bomb.
Don't get it, but that is funny as hell.
Yeah, no, we'll go over it with Istvan. Go over the dreadnoughts of the heresy.
Okay.
Because there are some really badass dreadnoughts. It will be one episode because they're in the book for all of 5 minutes and stuff like that. So,
but still crucial to the turning points of everything.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Fulgrim, not Horus. Back to Fulgrim.
Yes. So he's being raised by the police force, the Caretakers.
Yeah, and when he gets old enough, which is probably 5 months into him being alive, when he gets old enough to work, he gets put to work and everything like that. And like most of the Primarchs, he's naturally smart, naturally efficient, naturally strong, and all that stuff. So he starts working like a dog, probably working day and night without breaks, kind of thing. And then after a while,
he's got to put in that training for working 3 months straight on a weapon. So
but after a while, he's like, what are these machines that aren't doing anything doing here? And the Caretaker's like, well, they don't work anymore. And he's like, Fulgrim, a lot of the stuff that Fulgrim does is like, yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, watch me.
Is Fulgrim secretly an orc?
That's heresy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't say that.
In the best way possible.
Yeah, no, but he just has this ability to do. Yeah. He has this ability to make things work. Okay. Much like Ferrus.
Yeah.
He has the innate ability to make something perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so he just starts tinkering with machines, improving upon the designs, and after he's improved upon the designs, he starts improving output, yield, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And
so he's enchanting the entire place with efficiency 3.
Pretty much, yeah. The admin Mech would love him.
Okay.
Well, they wouldn't love him because they were like, that's against the Omnissiah. It's supposed to work like that. It's like, it's not doing anything wrong. It's against the Omnissiah.
Right.
Hitsane Miku said no.
But he's improving all of these machines.
He's improving all of these machines, making them work.
Which would then be improving quality of life for all of the...
Tenfold.
Tenfold.
Like, not even tenfold, probably like 100-fold.
Yeah.
Like, so much so that they were, like, getting to the point where it was just abundance.
Okay.
Like literally they had more than they needed.
Okay.
Like, it was getting to the point where they would just, they were trading food to other planets and stuff like that once the warp opened up again.
Okay.
They were trading food to other planets because they had an abundance.
So they've gone from rags to riches.
Literally rags to riches. And it, like, after a while, they were like, this, like, and like, this went on for like 15 years, man.
Okay.
Like, a long time. Like 15 to 20 years, he was just like working, like non-stop working, like barely breaking, doing anything, just perfecting the planet.
The man's non-stop.
The man does not stop. Shut up. God, I make one reference to Hamilton and you run with it.
Yeah.
He's just perfecting the planet. Literally perfecting the planet. Yeah. And people start getting to have fun again. Like people start to have days off, which is an alien thing to people.
Right.
And the executives realize this and they're like, hey, we're going to put you in charge of a fortress city.
Naturally.
I think it's Kallax is the name of it.
Yeah.
And he starts he gets Kallax improved so much that they barely had anything to do, and he starts tasking out the engineers to go to other fortress cities to be like, this is how you do it. Right. There's this great guy named Fulgrim. This is how he's taught me to do it. Just watch.
Do you have a moment to talk about
our Lord and Savior Fulgrim?
Yeah.
And they're like the god of creation. Like, no, the man. There's a guy. Yeah.
He was a baby and now he's a man.
Now he's a man.
And he's doing things.
15 years ago he was a baby. Now he's a full grown man. What? Don't worry. But so basically, yeah, he starts doing that and all that stuff. He starts increasing everything. Yeah. Like I said, they start trading food to other planets, trading foods, materials, all that stuff to other planets because they just have a surplus on it.
Yeah.
And because of this, they give him the title of ruler of the planet. They're like, you've improved it so much, you rule everything, kind of thing.
You've done such a good job, you get the key to the city.
Exactly. And fun fact, genuine fun fact, he is the only Primarch to rule his planet through peace.
Yeah, I guess so.
There is no war. There is no oh, you're the strongest of us, so you are just the leader kind of thing. He is the only one to improve their planet so much that they get them to a state of peacetime. Yeah. Where it's literally there's nothing bad on this planet to kill us. We are living perfectly. We can just exist. Yeah. That was Fulgrim's thing. He wanted the perfect life for everybody on that planet. Okay. If they were allowed robots, I guarantee you that they would have. And this is the thing. This is the nice note. What does this sound like that Fulgrim's doing?
That is a great question.
He is doing what the Eldar did.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they had robots, they would probably. If they had robots and they did not, and the Emperor did not intervene with Fulgrim, they would have ended up at the same place that the Eldar did. Yeah. Probably.
Where they have now nothing to do, and then they're craving
something to do, so they end up with. No, not to the extent that the Eldar did. Yeah. But they would have.
These are people. These are humans.
Yeah.
Not as.
But they probably would have ended up in the same place as the Eldar did, where it was robots doing everything for them. So all they had to do was kick back and relax. Right. Yeah. And that's where the similarity between what happened with the Drukhari and what happened with the Emperor's children start to overlap. Okay, that's cool. They have very close beginnings.
It's when I first was looking at models and when I was first getting into the hobby, the Drukhari and the Sons of the Emperor, those were two that I was considering. Emperor's Children, yeah. So that's kind of cool that there's actually lore relation between the two of them. But I also like the fact that
it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I like that he wasn't born into the pridefulness, because his whole thing is he's prideful, he's extravagant, whatever.
And that's the thing about Fulgrim is he's naturally prideful, yes. Yeah. But he instills in his sons. You see why I was talking about why Fulgrim is more interesting than Ferrus Manus? But he instills in his sons that perfection is something to be worked towards. It is not something that somebody gets. Yes. And that is his downfall. Is he is striving for perfection so much that he is so easily corrupted by the demons of Slaanesh. Right. Because they were we can give you perfection that you're looking for.
Right. Yeah. Because depending on where you stand, is perfect even is 100% perfect even a real thing? And if you're striving for that all your life, you can't quite get past the 99.999, you're gonna go insane.
Well, this is the thing as well, is in Fulgrim's book, there's a lot of artists on his flagship and everything like that. Yeah. And one of the keystones of being an artist, I'm an artist myself, or training to be an artist myself, one of the keystones of being being an artist, and one of the things that you learn as an artist is there is always an end point.
Yeah.
And if you try and push past that end point, you ruin what you've done.
Exactly.
Because if you strive for perfection, you're not going to get it.
Exactly.
And that's one of the wonderful things that they add into his book is the artists.
Yeah.
Because all of the ones that end up being, side note to this, all of the ones that end up being corrupted by Slaanesh early in the book, they're like it's not perfect. I can't figure out how to be perfect and stuff like that. Meanwhile, you have these other artists who like are doing their like all of their work and stuff like that. And like there's like a big passage from like one of the artists. Like, his name is Ostian Delafor.
Yeah.
And he's crafting a statue of the Emperor, and he gets to a point where he's like literally like, if I did anything more to this statue, it would be imperfect because I have reached perfection, and the imperfections that are in this statue as they stand make this perfect because it shows that it has been crafted by human hands.
Exactly.
And it's great bit as well, which is another reason why Fulgrim is such a queen. He goes to that guy and he's like, how do I make this more perfect? And the guy tells him, you've made it too perfect. And Fulgrim's like, well, I guess I'll never touch a stone or chisel again in my life. And then he actually says that. He says that. He's like, I guess I'll never touch a chisel again in my life, and then leaves.
That, fair. That's fair.
But then he goes around and starts chiseling out. So you just,
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But as a self-taught artist, that's somewhere that I get caught up on, is that perfectionism syndrome. But if you're always striving for it, you're gonna go nuts. And then if somebody's like, hey, here's an easy way to get perfection, you're gonna take
do it. Yeah.
You're gonna do it.
Yeah. But anyway, away, because this is all heresy stuff that we're talking. Not heresy isn't bad, but like heresy as in this happens in the heresy.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that when we get to it, because there's a huge thing about Fulgrim that's going to be at the beginning of the heresy. So.
Lovely.
So after this, the Emperor arrives on Chemos.
Yeah.
And Fulgrim drops to his knees and pledges his allegiance to the Imperium and the Emperor the moment that the Emperor steps off his ship.
Wow.
Yeah, such a drama queen.
like props for keeping up with the peace.
Yeah.
Whatever. But come on, man.
Yeah, like put a bit of a fight and all that sort of stuff.
Do a parade or something.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they ended up having a parade.
Probably. There's a lot of parades that happen.
Fulgrim gets carted off to Terra, like most Primarchs do when they first come to when they first get discovered by the Emperor. They get carted off to Terra, and there he learns about his legion, like the other ones do. Now, what he learns about his legion is that there are only 200 of them.
Uh-oh.
Very big uh-oh. The other legions are 10,000 plus strong. So 200 is unheard of.
Yeah.
I think the lowest one outside of that I know of currently is Vulcan, and I think that's about 12,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 200 is
200 is low.
Low blow.
Yeah. They were basically just what's the word? But show ponies.
Oh, okay.
They were basically like these are the great men defending our galaxy kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
They're the PR.
Yeah.
They're the face of
what Captain America was at the start of his movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Basically they're to sell war bonds kind of thing.
Okay.
And the reason of this is because the gene seed was lost due to a viral infection.
Oh, okay.
Now that's unpreventable. It just got infected.
Yeah.
And that's just the gene seed.
Yeah.
It's it was bound to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Zinch probably had a part in it.
Well, would that not be Nurgle?
Yeah, Nurgle. Nurgle probably had a thing to do with it, or Zinch borrowing something from Nurgle because Nurgle would be like, why would I want something that hasn't even grown yet to die?
Yeah.
He would I want to see the life before the death kind of thing, and there's no life in just genetic code.
Right.
Well, there is, but it's all potential, and it's hit or miss if Nurgle would be I want that to die already, but So in doing this, he's like, I need to rally my men. I need to get going and stuff like that. And this is I put a quote in here because it's a really good quote. And basically he just says to his legion, he looks at them, and one of them, and they're walking through a square, I think is what happens.
Okay.
And I think it's not that. It's Eidolon, that prick. Eidolon pushes a woman to the ground.
Oh.
Because she looked at him.
Really?
Yeah. Because he's like, how dare they try to think that they could be anything like us?
Yeah.
And Fulgrim is the full quote is I came from nothing, he said, fixing his sons with a steady gaze. I scrabbled in quarry pits and down in the deepest mines, carrying buckets on my shoulders because the ascender blew a gasket, he said. I broke my fingernails on raw ore and grew blisters from the heat and labor. You look down on them, blind blind to the beauty of their struggle, blind to what they may become. Only if someone would scrape the filth from their faces.
Okay.
And then he reaches down, lifts a kid onto his shoulders, and they start being happy. They start looking at him and being like, all happy and everything like that.
Yeah.
And Fulgrim says, "Look at them, my sons. You are the highest and they the lowest. It is your duty to raise them up high as they will go. Anything less is not worthy of you."
Gorgeous.
And the Emperor sees this.
Yeah.
And so moved by it, goes, "Those are my children. Those are the Emperor's children."
Ah.
And interesting one, they're the only legion that is allowed to wear his mark on. So that Aquila that you see on the front of all of the Astartes in 40k,
yeah,
only the Emperor's children were allowed to wear that during 30k era.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
cool.
It was
I think Nathaniel Garrow, who was I'm about to say a bad word, who was an absolute giga chad.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Garrow is a based man. He's so based. He has the Aquila, but because he did great things in the service of the Emperor.
Okay.
Like, you get the Aquila on your chest because you have done great services to the Emperor.
But the Emperor's children, they just start out with it.
They just start out with it, yeah.
Because of that.
Because of that speech, because they are the Emperor's children. They are the ones striving for gauge that out. Striving for perfection.
Yeah.
Not only through battle, but in culture is what's underneath that immediately.
Okay.
So
they're prideful, but they've worked for it. They've got the reason for it.
Yeah. And it's not just in areas of war too. They strive for protection, strive for perfection in all manners.
Yeah.
Because that, like Fulgrim said in that speech just there, it is their job to rise them up.
Yes.
It is their job to make them part of the Imperium.
Yeah.
And the Imperium is the perfection of mankind.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
So they've kind of got that mentality of, like, instead of where Ferrus would be like, there's a weak link, let's just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Fulgrim would be, here's a weak link, we'll strengthen it.
Strengthen it, yeah. Reinforce it.
But it would absolutely be in that Japanese style where you mix the gold into
the gold in, yeah. You're beautiful because you're broken kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. There is Lucius. His model's rocking because he's the guy with the long tongue.
Okay.
And the blade. He's the blade master or the blade something. I can't remember what he is. But like, he's really cocky.
Yeah.
And he gets his nose broken.
Oh.
And in doing so, he's like, my beautiful face, it's broken. So he just starts cutting his face up, giving it scars and stuff like that to remind him of the injustice that was done when someone broke his nose. So that's why when you look at his mini's all like scarred up in the face and everything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, big drama queen.
Big drama queen. All of its legions, big drama queens.
I mean, you name anyone Lucius, they're gonna be.
Yeah, like Malfoy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, after this, he meets Ferrus Manus.
Yes.
And remember that super gay thing I was going to tell you about that he did?
Right.
So he meets Ferrus Manus.
Yeah.
And he challenges him, like we talked about earlier, he challenges him to a smithing off.
Yes.
He's like, I'm going to create the best weapon. And Ferrus is like, I'm going to create the best weapon.
Yeah.
So they do the straightest thing that two guys can do.
Yeah.
They strip to the waist.
Right, yes.
They strip to the waist.
Important context.
They lock themselves in a room for 3 months straight, and they play with their hammers for 3 months straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just going to town on the metal.
Just pounding away at metal and each other, probably. But no, like, they joke, but like, there is like, he is so. I saw a post where someone had gender swapped Fulgrim.
Okay.
And like, there was an argument in the comments, and it's like, but the argument was so like, such a dead argument, because it was like, someone was arguing the fact that Fulgrim would be the only one that could arguably be a girl.
Right.
Like, or be a woman, I shouldn't say a girl, that's very dismissive. But like, he's the only one that could arguably be written as a woman.
Okay.
In terms of like his themes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the only one where, well, I shouldn't say be written as a woman, where a female could be really, really easily interchanged out with the maleness of him.
Right.
Given, at the time of when it was being written.
Yeah.
Not now.
Yeah. Not that Ferrus couldn't have been an absolute rockin' Dwarven woman.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is like, when at the time when like
for the
they
time,
were when they were developing the Primarchs and all that stuff, is like, with what, because I mean, like, Games Workshop is not known for their inclusivity a lot, but like, at the time that they were developing the Primarchs, at the time when that stuff was acceptable, Fulgrim totally easily could have been like the Emperor's only daughter.
Yeah.
At that time, I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, he is so queer coded, it is insane.
Yeah.
He is so insanely queer coded, it is insane. say? Like even the way that he like interacts with people, like he touches people a lot. Like he strokes his hands across people a lot. Like he wears gaudy amounts of makeup.
Yep.
He wears oils. He gets tattoos. Like not that it makes you gay, but he has a great understanding of like opera and the arts and everything like that. But they play it in the gay way. Of like, and this is like such like, because these books were written in 2011, right at the end of like that whole era of like, if you're into the arts, you're gay kind of thing. But they really lean into that so hard.
Right.
They make like he like I said, he's such a queer coded character. It is insane.
Yeah.
And they play into it so badly. But then like he becomes he becomes an agent of chaos, and it's like he went to conversion camp. Like for some reason, it's like I don't know why they straightened him out, but it's like they did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Another one bites the dust.
Yeah. But like read his book or listen to his book, and you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So he has that whole like like gay undertone, like Smith off with Ferrus Manus, and they, as we said earlier, they exchange their weapons.
Yep.
Fulgrim is given Firebrand, which he only keeps for a little while because then Ferrus breaks it.
Yep.
But after this, as the Great Crusade came to a close, and by it came to a close I mean as the Horus Heresy drew nearer and nearer in the timeline was 40k, Fulgrim was there. He fought and was there for his brother's ascension to War Master on Ulanor.
For Horus's.
Essentially.
Okay.
So yeah, he just ended up being there. Yeah.
Okay. Did he ever end up getting more soldiers than just the 200, or were they just 200 strong?
Oh no, they were they grew their legion, and that's one of the things is I was going to touch upon it when we did the Horus Heresy, but I'll touch upon it now. Is they spent time growing that legion, which was like very it caused like great emotion, not emotion. It caused great distress in the legion because they were like, we have to stay here while we grow our legion because our legion is so weak that we can't go out and fight on our own.
Okay.
Because they have 200 warriors. If they go and fight the orcs, those 200 warriors are going to die.
They're dead.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And Fulgrim's not going to have a legion until they bolster another legion. So they spent years growing their legion to like, they eventually got to about that 10,000 strong and growing after a while.
Okay. But it took them so long that they didn't have the time to participate.
Yeah. They measure the Crusades, because it is the Crusades, not the Great Crusade. It is the Great Crusade.
Right.
Because they have like, for example, Horus is in like the 63rd Crusade, I think is what it is.
Okay.
Ferrus Manus is in like the 54th, the 52nd. Fulgrim is in the 18th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they measure it by systems like taken into compliance.
Right.
So it would be 152nd. The 152nd expeditionary fleet for Ferrus Manus, because they measure it by systems taken into compliance.
Okay.
So at that point, because he's like the 18th expeditionary crusade at the time of the Book of Fulgrim, that means that they've brought only 18 systems into compliance.
Whereas the others
are bringing in hundreds of systems into compliance. Yeah.
Okay. So they're kind of crippled, but they're feeling it. They're upset about it.
When they get to that point, when they're like going out to the Great Crusade and stuff like that, they are so anxious to prove themselves that they are just like cutting through planets and stuff like that.
Right.
Like I think that like those 18 systems they brought into compliance was in like the span of decades.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like an ADHD. You don't do any of the homework, but you do everything the night before the exam, and you pass with flying colors.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, and that's the thing is like they're in the 18th. Like the 18th is the only one I mentioned because that's the one that's happening at the time of the Horus Heresy.
Okay.
And the Horus Heresy happens like 200 years after the Great Crusade, I think.
Okay.
I'll have to look into that one. But like, and that's the thing is like in like full like they discover Fulgrim like a little bit into that like a couple of years after they discover Horus. Well, I think about like 50 years after they discover Horus.
Okay.
And then like let's say they spend another another 10 years bolstering their legions. Probably not that long, but they spend another like let's say at 10 at most. That's 1,000 Astartes a year.
Yeah.
They spend like the next 10 years like bolstering their legion and stuff like that. That's 60 years into it, and like and then they get out into the thing. Like that means that Horus, Leman Russ, Ferrus, Vulcan, Rogel Dawn, Robute, and Magnus.
Yeah.
Like if we just say that, if we go just off of those 5, like the ones that are like discovered next to him.
Yeah.
That means that they have like 20 years on Fulgrim getting out there and like invading the galaxy.
Right.
So they are like systems ahead of and that might and that's like putting it generously. So like they might it may have taken a lot longer. It might have have taken a lot less time.
Right.
But like, it's just once it well, it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you gotta work with what you've got.
Yeah.
And like corruption is gonna happen, but you can't account for a cold coming through and wiping out the gene seed.
Yeah.
But at least like once they were able to get up and going, then they were
that would make sense as well, because they would have to grow more gene seed from Fulgrim's DNA.
Because they'd have to have Fulgrim back.
Yeah. Then find aspirants, because this is another interesting fact about Fulgrim's Legion. They are only taken from aristocracy.
Okay.
So that's why they're all like high-spoken douchebags.
Right.
Is because they're all children taken from aristocracy.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like the firstborn of like aristocratic families are taken and put into the like Emperor's children.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would take a while to bolster their things.
Yeah.
And you've got to think as well that like the training for an Astartes goes on for months.
Right. And if you're taking these fancy pants, soft hands people, it's gonna take a little bit of extra work.
And like from like a group of like 300, you could probably get like at most 10 Astartes from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slim pickings,
yeah, because it's like the best of the best.
Right.
And the rest die. But then on top of that as well, they go through all the surgeries and everything like that to become an Astartes. You can die during those surgeries.
Exactly.
And you could also die in your training. So like they're spending time bolstering their legion. So actually, come to think of it, 10 years is probably a very low estimate.
Yeah.
They probably took it could probably be upwards of like 50 to 100 years bolstering their legion.
Yeah.
If like you're really putting it down. Yeah. So like Fulgrim and his entire legion were like back.
Yeah.
Which really aided to their striving for perfection, because they were like, we want to do this quick and we want to do it to the best of our ability. Hence perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got the youngest child syndrome, even though they were found sort of in the middle.
Yeah.
Because they were stunted.
Mm-hmm. Because they were stunted from the beginning.
Yeah.
They are like really anxious to prove themselves.
Yeah.
Even though they don't have to, because the Emperor they were proven off the rip by Fulgrim giving that speech.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's Fulgrim. Like I said, like he was there for the ascension of Olenor, or the ascension of Horus to the War Master. And then right after, like literally probably a couple of years after his ascension to War Master, he gets corrupted to chaos. So we'll go over that when we go over the Horus Heresy. But
yeah, that's a whole can of worms.
It's a big can of worms. It's a big can of worms. It's an overflowing can of worms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So that's end of the episode.
End of the episode.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well,
you want to do your outro?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Thank you everybody for tuning in for the 2-for-1 special this time around.
2-for-1 special this time.
Oh, and just in case anyone was wondering, Ferrus was the 4th, and then Fulgrim the 5th.
Fulgrim the 5th, yes.
The 5th of the brothers to be found. The 3rd one, at this moment, is redacted, but we're going to do a whole episode on that later on.
The Primarch of the 2nd Legion.
Yes.
So far redacted. Does not exist so far.
Only exists in the fact that they're missing.
In the fact that they're missing and stuff like that. There is rumors, like deep rumors, that Games Workshop is thinking about revealing one or something like that. These are deep rumors from like the backside of the internet kind of thing. So it's like,
and then fan theories
and
all
fan
that
theories
sort
and
of
all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll do a whole episode on that after we get through the rest of the Primarchs. But yeah, thank you for tuning in. Where else can you find us at the moment, Ethan?
So if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can find us on YouTube at the Remembrancers Pod, the Remembrancers Library Pod. Yes. That is the app. Put that at the end of the YouTube thing, you'll get taken to the thing, or just put in the Remembrancers Library on YouTube. We were super lucky that nothing exists like that except the Remembrancer. Just look up the Remembrancers Library on
YouTube, Spotify.
On YouTube and Spotify, you'll find us like pretty much off the rip.
Yep,
go ahead.
We do have an Instagram up and coming as well.
Yeah.
So we'll be posting like reminders when we're about to post an episode. We'll be doing like teasers and stuff.
Eventually, we'll be showing off our armies.
Yep, showing our paint jobs and stuff.
Yeah, when we get to points and stuff like that, we might be doing clips from channels, clips from the channel and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like a quick peek behind the curtain for you guys, anybody that's listening. These first couple of episodes we're filming in bulk, so we can develop this stuff as it goes on.
Exactly.
Which is why these first couple of episodes are so hit and miss with consistency and stuff like that. So bear with us, we are trying and stuff like that.
We're learning. It'll get smoother as we go. And if there's anything, I feel like I said this last time, but if there's anything that we kind of miss or gloss over, or if a car drives by right as we're on a big talking point there, feel free to let us know however is most convenient for you, and we will holy moly we will work around that.
Yeah, work around it.
Yeah.
But so Remembrancers Library on YouTube, Remembrancers Library on Spotify.
Yep.
We'll be we'll do our best to expand to more channels as we go along.
Yep.
But thank you again for watching, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Next time we will be talking about Vulcan.
Yes.
It won't be a 2-for-1 this time. It will be just Vulcan himself. But once again, thank you very much, and
we'll catch you next time.
Catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.